Thank you, everybody. So let's get into it real quick. Obviously, you're here for War Stories Veterans in Gaming. We're going to talk a little bit about, all of us up here are veterans, and we've all used gaming in one way, shape, or form or another while we were in the service to get through our time, so to speak. So, yeah, there you go. Preach, brother. Amen. All right, so we're going to go introduce ourselves, but starting off first. Oh, that's right, I got this. All right, so myself and Stabby on the end there, we're not on an esports team. This is an esports jersey representing StackUp.org. We're one of the military charities, or we are the military charity downstairs in the charity area. We support veterans through video gaming and geek culture. We send over video game care packages to units deployed to combat zones, covering at military hospitals, drug and alcohol rehab centers, pretty much anywhere where Joe can get into trouble. He's got a lot of time on his hands. That's where we're here to help. We also send veterans to events like this through our air assault program. We fly disabled and or deserving veterans to events like E3, San Diego Comic-Con, and now TwitchCon, South by Southwest, all kinds of crazy places. Kind of like a Make-A-Wish light. We send them out here. They've never been, just as a way to show them that there is a community out there of people who speak their language, not just the veteran side of things, but also the first time I came to PAX West, it was a revelation. There were 30,000 people walking around that all knew what I loved doing. So it was a great time. And then also, finally, we have a volunteer program as well. So, all right, we'll get the pitch out of the way. If you want to know more information, we're down on the show floor in the charity area. Let's move on. All right, so who the hell am I? My name's Steve Machuga. I was a captain in the U.S. Army, commissioned through, oh, there we go. Thank you. Commissioned out of Purdue University in 1998. Went in to serve my first four as an infantry officer, which was absolutely not what I planned on doing my time in the military. I was a Russian linguist, and I thought, all right, I'm going to go use my Russian skills for good. And they said, infantry. I was like, what the fuck? Needs of the Army, for those of you who know what that one means. Oh, and by the way, I'm already swearing. We're off to a good start. We are Stack Up. This is a rated M for mature panel. And Stack Up is a rated M for mature charity. So we're a bunch of whiskey drinking, cigar smoking, some bitches that help each other out. So yeah, that's my story. Did 2 tours overseas, and I got out in 06. And let's keep moving here. To give you some idea where Stack Up came from, the charity, this is me right before we left. And yes, that is a Game Boy Advance with Final Fantasy Tactics in my pocket there. So that's where I'm coming from. All right, let's get on to the rest of these fine gentlemen who have decided to spend their Saturday night with us. All right, Stabby, looks like you're first up.
Oh, great.
There you go.
All right. I'm Mr. McStabby. I served 12 years in the Army National Guard, deployed to Iraq 04, 05, back when it was interesting. Since then, I mean, I don't know what to talk to about myself. I'm getting nervous now.
It's okay, baby. Right.
Anyway,
just look up here. It's all right. It's okay.
Just look at you.
Yeah,
all right, good.
Yeah. Tell me about yourself.
So I'm an Oregon boy. I was in Baghdad in 04, 05 when it was really sketchy, and to calm myself down, almost every night I would go into my buddy McCrow's little, I'd call it a room, but they were 5 foot by 6 foot. Smaller than a prison cell. I go over to his room, and the two of us would play Manhunt. And if any of you are old enough to remember Manhunt, you know how wrong that fucking game was. And that's what we did to calm ourselves down from, IEDs and all the crap we dealt with every day. Then I came home from that, and for some ungodly reason, decided to transfer into artillery. That was a bad decision.
I don't care, just play it loud, okay?
No, they wanted me to march. I don't know my right from my left. I can't march. I was a field grunt. I went and shot stuff. I got out as an E5, stumbled around for a while, and then, wound up finding this bunch of crazies. So here I am.
Cool. All right, let's see what else we got next. There it is, Tarfu.
That's me. Yeah, I'm Tarfu. I'm a little bit different than these guys. I was in the Israeli army.
Cool. Fucking hardcore.
Man, this is loud. I was in the counterterrorism unit, Fear 97, which is Fear 97. a lot of the terms I'm going to use is in Hebrew, but my rank I finished as a Samal, which is a sergeant. I just spent my time in the counterterrorism unit doing a lot of night missions and all that good stuff. And I was actually in a religious unit for half the time, so you couldn't really have like game stuff. But in my barracks, I used to stream, and you could plug in my laptop a like satellite internet, and so I used to like put my like covers down, and I like was gaming like at night, and like you weren't allowed to on the weekends, and because they were, I don't know if anybody knows like Jewish stuff, but yeah, like so Friday night and Saturday is like the Sabbath, so you can't use electric and whatnot, and yeah, so if you know, for missions and whatnot, like emergencies, of course, but to play games, they frowned upon that, so I had to do that on the DL, and yeah, it was an interesting experience. I would have stayed much longer, but I got injured in Aza when we had a little conflict there, and yeah, that's...
And we will get more into that. We'll
Yeah.
go ahead and get into intros here, but last but certainly not least, sexual chocolate right here. There you go. Oh, look at that man. Woo!
Hi, everybody. DJ Knight, former U.S. Air Force. Served from 2000 to 2004. Was based in Offutt Air Force Base, Nebraska. I got deployed to Saudi Arabia in the summer of 2002, which was a very interesting time to leave the country to go anywhere. I probably am the epitome of needs of the military, so I know that feel.
Oh.
When I went in, I was very young and very naive. So I took my ASVAB. The recruiter said, "Here's the book, pick your job." That actually felt really good. Not everybody gets that opportunity. So I picked some jobs, and the recruiter said, "You know what? Your scores are good enough. You're fine. You'll get exactly what you want. Just don't bother." And I'm like, all right, cool. This guy's in the military. He's got my needs in mind. So yeah, I'll trust him. At basic training, I remember reading off people's lists of jobs. Security forces. It's like, huh? And like everyone was confused because I literally said, huh? And he was like, security forces. Just didn't dawn on me that I would be a cop in the Air Force, and my training was like across the street. So no. So I got to learn the 249 and the M16 and multiple weaponries very well. I was very good at them. But I was lucky enough that I didn't actually get to use them, but long hour shifts in the middle of the desert. There's lots of awesome games that you can find ways into putting in your bags while you're sitting out there. You're not supposed to be able to read, but if there's no text, I'm not reading, right? So that's pretty much me. Then I left, got out in 04 and taught for years. Used my GI Bill to get a couple of degrees and taught collegiate level at a place called Full Sail University, if you've ever heard of it. And I left Full Sail to stream full time. So now I'm a crazy person that I'm happy to do whatever possible for Stack Up because I know what life can be like when you don't have the things that keep you comfortable or be able to bring you down from a long shift.
Oh, okay. First off, I want to take a poll of the room here. What the shit? There we go. What the hell, Bobby? So real quick, I'm seeing a lot of military-age males and females in here. How many, let's get a poll of the room. How many people served? There we go. Let's hear it. Nice. Thank you all. I'm sure you all have plenty of lovely war stories you could tell us with. And the mics will be hot at about the 20-minute mark. We'll get some, love to hear some of y'all's stories here. So we're going to go down the panel here. Tell us about your time in service. We got a little bit, the folks told us a little bit about themselves already, but I'd like to hear a little bit more. Obviously, Tarfu, IDF, tell me more. I was just in a counterterrorism unit, counterterrorism unit, counterterrorism unit. Yeah, man.
I got stories. Do you want to go like gaming or?
The panel's
like,
called War Stories, so you better get after it, son.
I used to stream like constantly. I've been a Twitch partner for 6 years now, and back in 2010-ish, end of December, I believe, I was raiding World of Warcraft, Professor Putricide. You know, we're doing a heroic mode, and hear mortar fire, like still going. You know, I'm not worried. I'm in my little bunk, just chilling. Keeps going. I'm like, what's going on? Type thing. Just we're raiding. I'm like, you could hear it on stream. Everything's going, and I'm like, I'm not stopping. Like I'm used to like just hearing stuff, and then like it gets closer. Some of my soldiers come in, they like start screaming like, we gotta go, and like I'm like, hold on. Like we're it was pretty bad, but so just going off, and then I had to shut the stream down because it was actually had to get serious and shut the stream down. Wasn't on social media for about a week. My guildmates, everybody thought I was dead, and it was really interesting experience with like streaming. It was never really done with like I was kind of the first like to stream on base, stream like everywhere. Like even before that, I had like for the Justin TV app, it actually worked for IRL streaming. A lot of people didn't know that, so I still had the Justin TV app, and I did IRL streaming. Like in the middle of like the dark, like I would put a, I would put my night vision on my camera, turn it, and like I did stuff where like if I got caught, they would like throw me in jail. Like I'm just like. And nobody really knew what Twitch and Justin TV was back then. So like I got away with all kinds of things. And yeah, but luckily there's no video proof anymore. I can't go to jail. They're not going to try to grab me, throw me back in Israel.
Well, now that you
I mean, I'm in America now. Like you know, they're not going to send Mossad to come get me and throw me back.
We're sitting outside for you.
Yeah, well, you told us all the story now. Now they're going to start going back through your old Justin TV.
Yeah, I mean, I was more of like streaming and not gaming. A lot of World of Warcraft. Like I would be in, we had like these things called like Davids, which is they weren't Humvees. I don't know like the English word for
Humvee
it.
adjacent.
It wasn't a Humvee though. It was more like a Silverado truck type thing.
Yeah.
But it was like it was nice. So I would be in there like gaming, have my stuff on, and we'd have door-to-door missions, and I would like shut the stream like but leave it on because I was more of like a gold maker. I made World of Warcraft gold. I made so much money selling it, and like so I was like. That's all I wasted my time on, and like everybody in my unit would just use my computer and like we'd play World of Warcraft and whatnot. So it was a pretty interesting time and gaming and my experience, but a lot of good, a lot of bad. I don't know what else. Like you want me to talk?
No, we can pitch it to your left there, DJ. Tell us a little bit more about your time in service.
A lot of sitting behind planes in a truck with the M16 next to me, waiting for somebody to try to steal it, which, no. Say again?
I said, did someone actually try and steal?
Never. The closest thing we got to somebody trying to steal a plane was a sergeant coming up to the window, catching somebody dozing off and just... Exercise. So like, all right, cool. So like somebody called in, like, all right, cool. He's exercise. Somebody got wrecked. Let's get on it. So like every night we would end up doing some sort of exercise to drill and make sure that we're responding. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. So.
Yeah, can you translate what people exercise like you got surprised. Somebody got the drop on.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you got caught sleeping. That was the initiation of the exercise. And saying exercise over the radio let everybody know that what we were about to say was not real. So don't go hot, don't pull your weapons, don't actually aim at people. And it's gonna be your colleagues, your fellow airmen that are gonna test to see whether or not our response times are what they should be, or if we're following the proper protocol. Because after the exercise, at guard mount at the end of the shift, they would go over, like, all right, cool, so we had an exercise starting on you. Who did what? And they would run through the entire exercise on what they saw and give us details about what we did or did not do right. So I got caught up multiple times, either playing with a Game Boy Advance or the SP, like the little purple see-through one. That was my friend. And for a while, I was the Xbox salesperson when the original Xbox launched, because we took a day off. It was the last day of the cycle. We took the day off. We went and got the Xbox. We played Halo on Legendary, beat it that night, and then we were the people that nobody could touch in Halo for the remainder of any time there was Halo around. When we got deployed, I took it with me, and they would, after the third week, they were like, look, you guys can't be on the same team anymore. Which was good, because it was to the point, like, you know how you work with your team and you don't need to say things, you already know where they are, where they're gonna be. Like, that was us, except with Halo and sniper rifles and pistols. So I was the sniper. Like, don't meet me on Sidewinder. Like, oh, you gonna come around the corner? No, you're not, nice head. So that was our bring down, but the majority of what I ended up doing was being on the flight line and working gates. Gates were lovely before 9/11. If you saw somebody's tag, you knew the color code, you knew who was a sergeant, you knew who was an officer, just wave them through. All right, pop a salute, thank you, sir, next. After 9/11, it was 100% ID checks all the time, every day, all day. So 6 a.m. was tough, because everybody's coming to work. So, like, there was a long flag, like, road leading to the base, and it was full. And we had somebody in every lane, because you had to. On every gate, you had to do it, because it was time to get to work. So those were the majority of where I spent my time, either on the gate or on the flight line. I was lucky enough to get into an armory. Working armory was the best, because I could take my Xbox to work and have it in the back with me. Oh, you guys got your guns? Sweet. Nobody could come in there unless they had the key to the vault, and unless they knew the combination to the armory vault. And if they wanted to talk to me, they had to pick up the phone, and I had to answer the phone to see what they wanted before I even opened the window. So it made life glorious to have an Xbox to get to practice. Well, everybody's at work. Nice work. Cool. You got your guns? Late. But no, it was a joy to, like, you guys know, when you serve with people, those are your brethren for life. I didn't like what I did. I would have re-enlisted if I would have been able to keep my armory position, but they'll be friends for life. Any of them needs me, they got me. So that's pretty much most of what I did, because if it wasn't standing on a gate, it was sitting behind a plane.
All right, Stabby, beat these two. Come on, let's hear some infantry love. I want to hear some real stuff. Like, I was in an armory. I played Xbox all day. Like,
Yeah,
all right, well.
I joined a recon platoon
There we go.
in 95. And in 98, I realized recon sucks.
But like a typical infantryman, it took him 3 years to realize it.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't the sharpest kid. But what I realized is, as a recon boy, is that the regular infantry guys didn't have to do any of the shit we did. Like, they'd walk 2 miles, we'd walk 40. So I realized, hey, this sucks. So I left that and went to a standard line unit. If any of you have ever been to the Pacific Northwest, it's really white. It's the whitest place. Now I joined a standard infantry unit, and all of a sudden there's people of color, and this was like the greatest fucking thing in the world to me. I'm like, holy shit, this is cool. I get to meet people I've never met. Like, where are you from? What have you been? You know. And that's when I learned, just because you're a different color doesn't mean you grew up in anywhere different than I did. So I did multiple deployments with the National Guard, fighting forest fires, responding to floods, the unholy, god-awful, shitty national emergency deployment I did was we went to Hurricane Katrina, and I spent a month and a half doing what was called remains removal detail. You know what that means.
Oh, we're going dark, I see. All right.
And it was bad. But it worked well for me because I had been home from Baghdad for 23 days when I landed in Katrina. I was not sane. I was not okay. I didn't handle combat well. I came home wrong. I wasn't a good person anymore. And I couldn't look myself in the mirror. Shit got dark after that for me. I actually wound up leaving the military because I couldn't put the uniform on anymore. It gave me nightmares, you know. So I'm going to get a little dark on you guys now. This is a story multiple friends have asked me to tell, and I've told parts of it to a couple of people that were involved. But I got out in 2007. I got divorced in 2008. In 2009, I was a graveyard security guard watching a gate.
I know that feeling.
It's bad. And I was at the point where I'd go home every night and I'd stare down the barrel of a gun because I couldn't handle it anymore. I couldn't handle the nightmares, couldn't handle the darkness. And I fucking lucked out because I realized one night my boss is gone and I have high-speed internet and a smartphone. So I got onto YouTube because I didn't know what Twitch was in 2008. I got onto YouTube and I started watching just random shit. And a video popped up on just the recommended thing, and it was a DayZ video from Gold Glove. And I went, holy shit, people make videos of games? What is this game? I spent the next week watching every video I could of his. And then a video popped up saying, hey, I'm live streaming on Twitch. I was like, what the fuck is Twitch? And what's live streaming? So I went and checked it out, and I realized this young screwball kid makes his living playing video games. This is the coolest thing ever. So I started watching him, and back then he played DayZ quite a bit, and he used to play with a guy by the name of Fairlight Excalibur. And I kind of migrated after a couple weeks of watching Goldie because his chat is, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. And I wandered over to Fairlight's channel, and day one he said, well, welcome. You're now part of the family. You know, sit down. If you got any questions, we'll talk about it. And I spent every night watching Fairlight. And it was about 3 months of me watching Fairlight every night that I realized I wasn't looking down the barrel of a gun when I got home anymore. I'd found a family again. I'd found a place that I was accepted. And honest to God, I truly believe that Gold Glove and Fairlight, they saved my life. You know?
Somebody clip that and send it to them.
So that's how I wound up here.
Oh, well, welcome back. That's good stuff. All right, I'm going to lighten it up a little bit. My time, so June 9th, 2004, I was on my way to the shower tent in sunny Mosul, Baghdad, and I had forgotten, I don't even remember what the hell it was, but I went back to the tent I was staying at. I hadn't taken a shower in 3 weeks, 4 weeks at that point, so I was all excited, and they had us all in this goofy, y'all deployed, right? Oh, you know, yeah, but just big shower tents, and you're just all standing there. It's like Starship Troopers. We're all just standing naked next to each other, just dumping water on you. Like, and it was the first shower I'd had in a while, but I'd forgotten something. I went back to the tent, and some kid probably a couple of kilometers away dropped a mortar on us, and the path I had been walking to go to the shower tent got hit, and I just happened to dodge out of that. And that was my birthday, by the way. So, no, it gets better. We're not done. So I came back. I'm standing there with my flip-flops and sitting there like, hey, guys, what's going on? Like, hey, I heard a mortar come in. Like, that was pretty close, huh? It's like, you have the realization as it comes washing over you, like, so if I had been there, oh, shit. All right, happy birthday. 2 days later, June 11th, we were on patrol, Baghdad bypass. I was a part of third words are not working right now. Striker Brigade. Whew, man, I'm getting old as a bitch. 3rd Stryker Brigade, we were providing mounted escort for fuel blivets driving back and forth to the north. The solderists, Muqtada al-Sadr, were blockading major avenues leading to the north. Our tanks and our vehicles weren't getting fuel, so it was our job to provide security detail with the brand new shiny toys in country with these giant Stryker vehicles that were more or less IED resistant. And I was a captain. And so for whatever reason, I just happened to be in one of the hatches of one of these Strykers pulling air guard, which means I was looking around for the Iraqi insurgent Air Force. But bottom line, you're just keeping your eye out for things happening around you. And 2 vehicles up from me, a Golf, a little shitty hatchback European-ass car, comes careening over the side and rams directly into the vehicle 2 vehicles up from mine. It was a poorly executed VBED, which is a vehicle-borne IED. Vehicle-borne IEDs are extremely lethal, but this guy was not authorized to apparently be a suicide bomber, so he just threw a bunch of unprimed mortars in the back of his Golf and drove a vehicle convoy. So exactly, it's like, good job, Johnny Jihad. So the explosion was minimal at best. It blew out the run flats on the one side of the vehicle. We limped out of the ambush zone. But it was one of those things like, my ass had been just kind of hanging out, just taking in the air. You know, it's a long drive from southern Iraq up to Mosul. And, you know, I was not paying attention, to be honest. Just kind of had rifle out and just, and then that all went down. And it was 2 days after my birthday when I almost ate it then. And then this happened. And it was like, so we got back. And as soon as I got to the nearest terminal with internet connectivity, because this is 2004, not everybody had a goddamn cell phone with 16 megapixel cameras on it, I got onto the internet and I ordered myself a $5,000 Alienware laptop, had it shipped to Iraq, and tried as much as possible not to leave the wire anymore, because I was like, okay, I'm done with that. No more going outside. We're good. I'm going to stay here for a while. Eventually worked my way up to Mosul and ended up sitting at a desk. But it was right then and there that I was like, gaming was a definite escape for me. When I got back home, much like Stabby, where it's like you get back home and you just don't exactly come home. The person you were when you left to go to war is not the same person that you come home and look in the mirror and see. And my big thing was trash day on Tuesdays. Because we were rolling patrol at the time, insurgents enjoyed, I don't know if they still do it, they probably do, enjoy inserting explosive devices in piles of trash, because in Iraq, trash just litters the highway. They just, oh, I'm done with this, all day long, just throw shit up and down the roads. So there's just piles of trash all over the place. So when I got home, and Tuesday came around, and there are piles of trash where there are not supposed to be piles of trash, my brain was like having this weird, like, disconnect. So I was finding reasons not to leave my house. Like, I'll go to tomorrow. And like, not knowing why. And next thing you know, it was turning into 2 days, then 3 days, then 4 days. I was like, you know, I don't need anything. I can just have pizza delivered. You know, we're good. Coming up with reasons not to go to formations. And I got an appointment. I was getting ready to get out of the military. And yeah, I got an appointment. I'll come in tomorrow or whatever. And I was an officer, so they cut me a lot of slack. It was real nice. But yeah, I was having real problems. And I also got home 3 weeks before World of Warcraft came out. So I disappeared into Azeroth, and I never looked back. It was escapism at its finest. Like, I literally was panicking, not wanting to leave the house, and then next thing you know, I am rushing out of the house to go to Quiznos real quick because I got a raid in a little minute. I gotta go. I don't care what day it is. I gotta get back. Fuck, you're not gonna miss this raid. So it was the thing that I needed to kind of like get me back into reality through weird fantasy land. And that's kind of the tenets, which is what we started the charity on, which is like, hey, veterans need an escape. And yeah, so I ran out of steam on that one. We probably should go to the next slide. I think it's just us talking about video games. Yeah, probably should got the panels to the panel, or the slides to the panelists, so they wouldn't have blown their loads a little early. But we'll go back down the line here. We got about, I'd say, we got a lot of questions before we launch into the next one. Does anybody have anything that people want to come to the mics in about 10 minutes. Tell us your story, talk questions. Okay, all right. Just want to make sure we got a couple people, so it's not like, all right, we got 20 minutes left. You want to know? Okay. All right. Let's get some gaming stories. Tarfu, what were you playing? So obviously you were pointing your night vision goggles at shit. And
So I could actually also talk more because I did the gaming a little bit. So, like, I was considered a Kyle Boded, which is a lone soldier, and in Israel, it's like you're always living in the red zone, I guess you would say. Right. So we would take bulletproof buses to get to our base, and all the Israelis that lived locally in like Jerusalem or whatever could go home. And so for me, I was on base, always there for all the time. Like it was actually a punishment to stay on base, but for me, it's like I had nobody. So I always just started gaming. I did everything. It was mainly World of Warcraft. Like, because I had internet, I paid so much money. It was about like 800 shekels a month, which is about $400 back then, like a month. And like, I had all this like shekels. I'm like, oh, I'm so rich. Like, I was pretty stupid because like I didn't even know Hebrew. Like, I still like when I was like everywhere. Like they have memsadics, which is military police. If you're in uniform, you always travel in uniform. You get free buses, free everything. And so like they always ask for your Tudat Zahut, like your ID. And like they talk to me when I'm still fresh. And like I'm like, I don't speak English, and they like assume I'm like not a soldier. I'm impersonating. And then like I had to like talk in like my broken Hebrew, and then they're like, wow, you're so stupid. But surprisingly, my unit had a lot of Australians, Russians, everybody wanted to speak English. And when I wanted to learn Hebrew, they're like, oh no, we'll speak English. And I'm like, man, literally 2 years, I think I started getting a hang of it, but it was pretty brutal. But I got a lot of Israelis into World of Warcraft, and a lot of them into Twitch too. Like, well, Justin TV, Twitch. I created the Twitch local meetup group for Tel Aviv in Israel. So like it was like word of mouth because like in Israel it's mandatory service. Like everybody has to go in the military. So there's everybody knows everybody. And a word of mouth kept going, and like I was like, oh, let's there's an English pub. Let's see if we get other Americans that are lone soldiers to come. And when I just started social media and whatnot, we had like 30 people. And it was like all over. We also had some Marines stationed in the embassy that was into gaming. And like, it was like the first time. We're talking about like 2011. Like Twitch literally just became Twitch. And we're having a meetup. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. And so when I got out of the military, I went to Arizona. I created that local meetup. Like for me, my mindset was I was always going to be in the Israeli military. Like we only had to serve 3 years, but I signed up for more, and then I got injured, and I didn't know what to do after. And streaming, I went full-time streaming, full-time World of Warcraft. I did a lot of gold selling, which is, I know, against the terms, but like, that's how I survived too, because like back in the day, I had like 600 to 700 viewers, and was good, but it's not, that's like equivalent to, I would say, 5,000 now. Like, you had 10,000 followers, that would be considered, holy crap, you're a huge streamer. I got partnered with 1,400 followers, and my max concurrent views was 40. And like, it's just streaming, gaming, it's helped me a lot. While I was there, I actually tried to do more for the community for gaming, and yeah, it was interesting experience, and I just try to live my life and not worry about, their gun control's pretty good in Israel, but we had to worry about being stabbed. Like, that was our thing. Like, everybody's getting stabbed. Like, they just stab you in the neck, and it was a shit show. But luckily, nothing too bad. I got shot, but nothing went through my Kevlar, and like, I don't know,
that's the injury you're obviously talking about.
Yeah,
I got injured.
Well, it wasn't even that. I got shot in the back, and it like just took me to the ground. But they were, one of my soldiers was grabbing me by one leg to get me out of, and it just popped out my knee and my ankle, and like it was.
I'm helping, Sarge. I'm helping.
Yeah,
God damn it, let go.
it was pretty bad. So like that's kind of where I got my injury, and they said they put me in a Machuga, which is English computer type stuff. So I did that, and I was just like, I don't want to sit behind. They're called jobniks. It's like a desk job, and I'm like, I didn't want to do that, and I just like got like really depressed, really just. I didn't know what to do, and luckily, I just was able to get a medical discharge, and I didn't want to do that the rest of my life, so I came back streaming, and I actually work for Twitch now. I don't know if I said that. So, I mean, I went from regular broadcaster partner to working for Twitch, so.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, DJ, what do you got? Obviously, you've already told us your Xbox.
Oh, well, no, I was still the Xbox salesman. I sold a lot of Xboxes. If anybody's used the original Xbox, you know that that was one of the first consoles that you could interconnect. Like the PS2 had it, but like with the Xbox, you could just get a hub and just land it out to another one, and Halo was like the prime example of that. So I had the high and low of my military service in Saudi Arabia after being deployed. The high was pretty much having, after the first day of putting Halo in the day room, people were asleep, they would come out, shut up, and then, wait a minute, what is that? So I got everybody hooked on Halo. Anytime the PX got an Xbox, like within the next week, it was the first Xbox that got delivered to the PX over there, it was gone, and it was in our day room. Somebody had bought a LAN switch and connected them, and there was 2 Xboxes with Halo. And then somebody else got one. And then there was 3 Xboxes with Halo. So it was like just Halo tournaments nonstop. And then I was getting ready to go to bed. I'm like, hey man, I get you another controller if we can just keep this Xbox out here. All right, cool. So my Xbox was the communal Xbox. And then when we got back home, we had the same problem. So like people hated us. It was like, oh, they're partying again. So it was either you come out and party or sorry for the noise. And I think the lowest part of my military career was I was on a gate, and in another country there are no exercises, none of that. So as a 249 gunner, I'm standing in a tower, 249 loaded, just like not loaded, but like ammo ready. Like just all I got to do is pop that seal, rack it back, and it's time to party. So I'm in the shack, bored, playing Game Boy. You know how it was. You play, look up, all right, nothing, play. So I look to my left, and through the sandy area that's leading up to the gates, or the fences, there's a pickup truck bouncing. We didn't do that. That wasn't allowed. So I think the thing that got me on edge was on the way to our guard mount, the security forces squadron over there was a memorial to Kobar Towers. So I was not going to be the dude to allow that to happen again. So I got up, had my 249, they had a mount, so I was like, perfect, let's mount up. Grabbed my pack, and I was waiting, just gave him 3 more seconds. I was like, if you keep going to 3 seconds, I'm going to have to unload. I'm not ready for that, but it's either going to be you or it's going to be us. And I'm not going to let it be us. So I had to, like, as I was pulling it to pop it, like, there was no time to call it in. It was get up and be ready. So, like, by the time I was ready to call it in, he was already gone. So I think that was a wake-up call for me. Like, am I ready to take lives? I mean, obviously I was ready to take lives, but did I want to have to deal with it? And I think that was the thing that let me know that security forces wasn't for me, but I signed the paperwork. I took the oath. So until I can go somewhere else, hey, you gotta go. It's not gonna be me. I like breathing. But after that, I think I went back and just like kind of shut myself up for a couple days. didn't play, which was odd. So like after the second day, people were like, "Hey, bro, there's 3 more controllers out here. Somebody else got an Xbox, bro. Come on, come play." And it took like a couple days for me to like be ready to engage, and I was hurt because like I hadn't even done anything. Like I'm talking to Army patrols, they're going out lighting people up on a daily basis. When we landed over there was 4 missiles shot at our plane. Like when we left, it was more, and they didn't tell us until we got back. So that was an awakening for me. But without the family that I had already built playing games, I mean, I went to work every day with a gun. So I did my looking down the barrel on post. When I got back from Saudi, same thing. I had family, but I didn't care. Like they didn't. I was like, man, they don't give a shit. So whatever. And let's see, you load me up with an M16 and then 120 rounds, and don't nobody give a shit. Like, what am I here for? So I had a huge problem, but I didn't talk about it because I was raised like, you don't talk about your emotions, man. You fight that shit out. You go to the gym. You push some weights. So gaming was, for me, already a thing. I've been gaming since the Super Nintendo, the original Nintendo. Like, I've been there. But the friends I made in the military, getting them into gaming, they got me out of my dark places. So gaming has always been a thing for me, and it always will be. And so will my family. So I think.
Oh, Stabby, what do you got?
Just, I was thinking the stories of the military and the gaming. I had my squad leader tell me I wasn't allowed to play Manhunt for 4 days for something I did. Yeah. No, actually, the name Mr. McStabby came from Modern Warfare 2. Don't throw shit at me. I was a Call of Duty monkey for a very, very long time, and I loved that game because PlayStation was always better than Xbox.
I still have all consoles, always have, so that's cool. PlayStation didn't connect with any games like that, though.
That's true. That's true. So what I did was we were at the hotel complex where this is where Fox News and CNN and everybody stayed at, and every news report you saw had the big blue onion dome in the background. They stood in the parking lot between the 2 hotels, and they angled their camera just right so you couldn't see our wall. It was a 25-foot tall wall. Texas barriers. I think it was 25 feet. It was a tall ass wall. These guys were in some of the safest area in the country. So what happened was we had this one position where this was the take a break, chill out day position. You sat there and you looked over the river at the green zone. Nothing's coming from the green zone. That's where the Americans are. In front of you is a river. I'd been up there for like 5 minutes. I'd never been up there before. And I sit down. Well, our battalion commander was home on leave. Our battalion XO, who'd been outside the wire 6 minutes at this point, shows up at the hotel complex. And the first position he walks to is mine. Now, our XO was a civil engineer. He was a very, very literal man. He knew every exact detail of everything. I'm kind of a shit. So he walks up to my position. He's a major. There's 2 captains with him. I don't know what they were doing. And he says to me, and he looks and there's a range card there. He says, "Oh, you good, you got a range card. What's your left limit of fire?" My response was to reach out, grab the back of the 240, and flick it. There was a metallic stop, and I went, "That way." Now, at this point, I hadn't realized yet that I'd done something wrong. So he says, "What's your right limit of fire?" And I look at him like, "Are you fucking stupid?" That way. And now I'm starting to realize, oh, this might not be the right answer, but fuck it, I'm already doing it. Let's go. Now it's still specialist at this time. And he looks at me and he says, there's 5 guys standing on that roof over there. Why haven't you shot them? I says, well, I think that's the French embassy, but I'm not sure. But the guy I just relieved didn't shoot him, so I figured I probably shouldn't either. To which he says, are you fucking serious? I said, yeah. I mean, they're not dead yet. I shouldn't make them dead either, right? And at this point, I realized that there's a captain here and a captain here. Oh, I'm in a bad place. Fuck it. So now I'm on the, I think it's 7th or the 9th floor of this hotel. There's like a floor with no walls. You know, that's where they had all the air conditioners and the air handlers and all that stuff. So I'm pretty high up, but the outer wall is like 100 yards out from where I'm at. And he looks next to the 240 and he says, oh good, there's hand grenades here. I made sure that there were hand grenades at all these positions. I'm like, why? And he says, well, if somebody comes up to the wall, you're gonna throw that hand grenade at them. I said, sir, here's a can of Pepsi. Throw it over that fucking wall, I dare you. He says, what do you mean? I'm like, sir, I'm a human. That's 100 yards away. Yeah, I'm 7 stories up, but for fuck's sake, man. Also, you should know I've never been good at military customs and courtesies. I called him man. Now at this point I realize there's a breeze on my ear. It's not windy today. Oh, that's Captain. So he got a little red. And he's like, what the fuck is your name? Because, you know, we're outside the wire and I got my body armor and everything on and no name tapes. Oh, I'm Specialist Brown, sir. And he just storms off. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I made it through okay. I'm sitting up there for about 3 hours. And my squad leader comes walking in. And I'm like, oh, this isn't good. He's supposed to be in bed. And he just walks up and says, what the fuck did you do? I was like, oh, I met Major What's-His-Nuts. Oh, fuck. Apparently, he'd spent the last 3 hours getting yelled at by Major What's-His-Fuck. I can't even remember the guy's name. I got banned from playing Manhunt for that because that was the meanest thing he could think to do to me.
Wow, Specialist Brown, that's a hell of a story you got there. God damn. All right, we got to move. That went quick. We got like 10 minutes left. So if anybody y'all want to ask some questions of this fine panel of gentlemen, go ahead and line up behind this microphone right here, and we will answer them to the best of our abilities. Sir, go ahead.
All right, I'll take a quick stab at this one. So I've only been streaming for about 3 months. I've been in the Army for about 10. I won't tell you what I do because there's already been enough jabs at officers, but I was an enlisted guy in 2007, 2008, and I had a lot of fun doing similar to what you did for a detail as a permanent job. So it was good times. But I guess my question would be that I also found that it's therapeutic to game. And when I was a Joe, we all game together. Officers are no different. We do the same shit. We just don't tell you as much. But I would say that like what you have here is a great community. I mean, I know that I personally I'm a small-time affiliate streamer. I got like 20 subs and 1,000 followers. I'm no big guy, but I would host any military guy in here just because of their service and because it's a similar kind of attitude. And so beyond Stack Up as a charity, have you guys tried to, or do you know of, communities that have branched out to support military streamers or veteran streamers? And if so, where can we find them?
Not even close. They're coming to us. We were partnering with Wounded Warrior in 2018 because they're like, boy, you seem to have a real handle. Thank you. Yep. They're extremely interested in what we're doing because we have a handle on the post 9/11 veteran like nobody else. Like you've got organizations like Team Red, White, and Blue, and the mission continues, and they're doing wonderful work. When those folks, they're either done training for their marathon or they're doing, relief in Haiti and things like that, they go back to their bunks and they play some goddamn video games. So we are able to, across charities, across service organizations, they are all looking to us, and and especially the old school ones like VFW, and those folks are just like, their populations are dying out, and they're realizing that the guys who are, they don't want to sit at a smoky bar and tell war stories all day. They apparently want to sit at home and play, Call of Duty and yell at each other all day. So, but yeah, that's we're kind of on the leading edge here on this stuff, which is a really weird feeling, especially as the guy who started this thing. You always feel like that pet rock idea, like, oh, somebody's already thought of that. Like, no. So yeah, we're working on it. It's all right.
And I'll just do the second part to that. If anybody else, you guys, I'd love to talk to you after. If you can,
Sure,
I work for
bring
the CG at NTC, so I'd love to get you guys involved.
You
that
work
way.
for the CG at
I do.
NTC?
I'm sorry. So I would love to get you guys involved, but anybody
Sure.
else who's interested and who has a charity or who wants to support veterans and veteran streaming, please let me know, and we'll see what we can do to
Yeah, we're
actually
down on
get you tied in.
Stack Up is down on the show floor in the charity area, but I'd love to talk to you. There's really not much going on tonight, so I'll be happy to talk with anybody after
Sure.
this. So.
All right, but thanks, appreciate it.
Oh, and thank you for your service. CG of NTC. Oh. Hold on there, son. Hold on. You had a line behind you there.
Oh, no, he was next.
Was he?
Yeah,
I didn't see the king. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right, so I'm the Nade Face, and
Grenade
2013,
Oh.
I was blown up by a grenade, hence the name. It was with about 4 or 5 feet, which is kill radius is 5 meters. Very lucky person, but I've got tons of shrapnel in me. Fast forward a year from there, I'm med boarded, I'm out. I just have video games and my girlfriend at the time, and I just had nothing to do. And I definitely felt for you for your story about how it saved you. Like I had, just everything going on and trying to get through that. And then I found Twitch, just on PlayStation thing. And then I went from there. Then I started, I started streaming and everything, and like it got that structure back in my life and how it's helped people, and how like I've met other people like through OSD, Stack Up, like K4 Vet, know him.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
Good
we worked
dude.
with them.
And so just thank you guys and thank Twitch for like providing an environment and constantly working towards making that environment better for people. It's awesome. Thank you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you for your service. And seriously, you're right about Twitch providing a community. Like, we would not be able to, as an organization, like, Twitch is a huge piece of our funding every year. Like, through $5 and $10 donations to, $20, $100, guys doing charity marathons and stuff like that. Just everybody helping out. And that's what's keeping us moving. So, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Next.
Oh, good. It picks up my voice. We're fine.
That's all right.
So I'm actually currently I'm a Navy corpsman, so a branch
Oh.
that's sadly misrepresented among here. But I did want to ask, how exactly did you go about starting streaming while you were in, particularly to Tarfu yourself? Because that's something that I'm struggling with right now with my 12, 16 plus hour shifts. So I was wondering how about you would do that, or how you did it.
So when I did it, it was pretty much illegal. like,
I think it is illegal.
yeah, it's a gray area. We won't say, but like nowadays, it's so much easier. Like my laptop was a piece of crap. I streamed on a laptop, and we're talking about like many years ago. But now, I mean, you could get a gaming laptop. You just have to. For me, I didn't really have a set schedule. I kind of left my stream up all the time, and that wasn't even allowed back then. But nowadays it is. So you put in non-gaming, and it depends what you're playing.
Right. It's funny enough, main game right now is World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah, you can leave that on all the time. Yeah, like it just idle out. Like mine, I had like 365 days played in literally 365 days played. Like it just like I just left it on all the time, and like of course disconnect and whatnot. But I mean, to make time nowadays, it's more of like what your job is in the military. But it's fairly easy. Like you could stream on your phone, you could stream on a GoPro, you could even do like VODs. Like it depends how you want to grow your community, but you could set up like IRL streams and just kind of do that. You could do World of Warcraft if you do raiding or quests, and you just stream it, or you could just record it and then upload it. and kind of like set your hours. There's vodcasts
Yeah.
too, so you could set like a specific time. For me, I always had like, it wasn't periodic. On the weekends, I was like always a certain amount of time, like 4 hours to make sure I'm there. But if not, like everybody knew like my schedule. Like if I had an emergency, I would just go. So you just really have to set out time. If you have weekends off, like stream on the weekends, and just go from there.
Beautiful. And I do want to say thank you to you and all of the other military streamers here. I just found Twitch about a year ago. I was going through a really bad time in my life, and like much of you guys, I found a really open community. One of the main guys I watch, we really connected over being in the Navy. So I thank you so much for kind of having that connection there for those that aren't standing up or willing to say it. So.
Welcome to the community.
And before you run all the way off, I do actually know an Army soldier who he's still active duty and streams regularly. We'll link up afterwards. He might have some insights for you.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, next.
PTSD and mental health is a very big issue. And as a civilian who's never seen combat in that, how can we better interact with military streamers to the whole?
Well, first off, you're never going to talk like them, so don't try to adopt the lingo. That's not a great idea. It just looks bad. But we appreciate your effort. Thank you for trying. Other ways, I mean, just be there. That's the nice thing about gaming is you don't have to have served, but you can talk about a Destiny raid together. Like you have a shared language with them already. If you're playing the games that they're playing, you're already talking to them in the language they want to hear. So I mean, depending on what they did in the service, I mean, I don't know what y'all. Knight, you want to talk on this one a little bit, maybe?
For me, I really am not in a situation to talk too much about PTSD because I'm probably the only person on this panel that actually didn't see actual combat. So I don't know about myself, but I think he's hit the nail on the head. If you're talking to a vet, you don't need to do anything else. Is just be there, talk about the game that you're talking about. Like if you found something awesome that they don't know about, bring it up. Like, hey, have you seen this thing? Like if they don't have rules about spoilers, but like. Talk about it. Be there. Show up. Say hi. For me, that's the thing. Say hi. I'm happy to see people that want to hang out. Like, you don't have to have been military, but I do salute anybody who comes in the stream. I make sure I do it. I have a salute emo so that people can do it as well. Because anybody who serves, I appreciate you. Like, I don't care what country. Like, if you served your military, you did your job. Thank you. And I salute you. So I try to make sure my community does the same thing. So be there, talk, show love, be loved. That's it.
There you go.
Thank you.
So
Thanks, appreciate it.
I got a couple words on that one.
Sure.
The big thing is show up, say hi, be a friend. If I got some shit I need to talk to you about, I'll talk to you. You know, if I need you, I'll talk. You know, to talk about something specific, I'll go to you with it. Other than that, just show up, say hi, be my friend. That's all I want. You know. Yeah, I did the military stuff, but you know, now I want to do Twitch stuff. So let's talk about that instead. That's more fun.
Good stuff. All right, thanks. Next.
Hey, good evening, gents. Thanks
What's up,
for coming
Maroon?
out and sharing your stories. My name's Bill. I go by Billistic Bill on Twitch. Obviously, I was a Marine. I was an 0311, deployed to...
Wow, there it is. I was waiting on somebody. You're never technically out of the Marine Corps.
I'm actually not a big streamer. I'm an affiliate.
You're still a streamer though, right?
Yeah, it's big enough,
right?
man.
Like, I wanted to say that when the first guy said, like, you're a streamer, you're a part of the family. Hello.
Right, yeah, thank you. So my question to you is that, well, first of all, let me say is that I am a sufferer of PTSD. I've seen a lot of shit, been through a lot of stuff. You know, I've been to Helmand twice. That's enough for anybody, in my opinion. Yeah, so the reason why I love Twitch so much is that for me, actually, two of my best friends are sitting over there. They're regular civilians. And for me, you know, when I was stationed in Hawaii, right? Oh, yeah, that's great, man, let me tell you. Yeah, so, you know, when you separate from the military, you get pulled away from that support structure. Like, you can't go down to the next barracks room and grab a six-pack with your buddy and talk, you know, the shit that you're dealing with out. So it's just like, you come back, you know, and I was a 24-year-old freshman, I started going to school, and I remember, like, just being so, like, fucking annoyed by these kids. Like, the semester just started, and you're talking about skipping class already, dude. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you, man? Come on, get your shit together. But, you know, it kind of dawned on me that, like, I had a very hard time, like, trying to find places to fit in with people. And, you know, Twitch was an easy place to just kind of find a place to fit in somewhere. So that's kind of like where Twitch plays in with me and how I met two of my, you know, best friends. Because, like, even the kids that I grew up with, I'm not friends with anymore. And some of the people, I've lost a lot of friends from the military just after the war because of PTSD. So I kind of have, like, veteran charities. Like, I'm from Philadelphia, if you could tell by the accent, I don't know. But I do a lot of work with, like, Travis Mannion Foundation and stuff like that. So, like, veteran charities have a big place in my heart because, you know, I'm kind of against the medication treatment because I've seen it fail so much. So I kind of like this idea of tapping into this vein of, like, a veteran community that, that brings people together and people who are like-minded, who want to help us and us helping each other out. Anyway, I just have a question for those, you know, obviously your entire audience isn't going to be veterans. It's like, how can you appeal to people outside of it, you know, without kind of being too, you know, how military guys are. You know, I mean, we curse a lot, you know, I feel like that it's kind of like turns people off and stuff, you know, so I'm trying to, like, kind of cut back on that.
Don't bother.
All right, okay.
Like,
all right.
For real, like, don't bother to not cursing. Like,
Right.
when I'm on a panel like this, I can stop myself from cursing long enough because it's like an hour and some change at best, and I can not say fuck, shit, and all that other nonsense.
Right.
But at home, at my computer, in my stream, you ain't gonna tell me not to say some shit I want to say. I wish you would try. So don't bother. If that's who you are, be your best self. Okay. If you're trying not to do something that is a part of you, you're being someone else. And those same people who would watch you be on stream not cursing, when they meet you in person at an event like this where it's created for us to meet each other in person,
right.
If you're dropping all the F-bombs that you've never dropped on stream, they're like, who is this guy? Right?
Right.
So I swear all the time in my stream. So when people see me in person, it's not surprising when I drop all of the negative things, all of the curse words, because that's part of me. I can't help it. So be you. And really, when it comes down to it, we're all gamers, man. Like, if you game, have fun, say all the shit you want to say, and if people don't like that, there's other streams they can go to. And I hate to say it, but I've said it many times. If you don't like the fact that I'm going to say fuck, shit, fuckery, like, however, I'm going to say what I want. Like, it's my stream.
Right.
Turn it off if you don't want to see it.
Like, for me, I have a different aspect of it. When I got more, like, when I realized I could start making money off streaming, I was like, okay, I had a gimmick. Like, you know how, like, Dr. Disrespect,
right.
That's his gimmick? So I had mine, if you know Soda Poppin'. I was kind of,
I watched him almost, you know,
so,
take
like,
it all the way today.
I was kind of like that, but
Right.
a lot worse. Did a lot of drunk PvP and that.
Okay.
But I always wore, like, a spirit hood, like a wolf on my head.
Yeah.
And so I had, like, the gimmick. Like, I have a global emote also, the Tarfu, with a capital T, capital F. So just throwing that out in chat, you know?
Smooth.
So, like, that was my thing. Like, for years, I just wore a wolf head on my head. And, like, I had the gimmick, and if I ever went dark, and, like, I always had those random things where I got drunk and started yelling military stuff. And, like, oh yeah, they're all spam. I have chat open.
Okay.
So, they're all spamming my emote now. Thank you. So it's just, you have to be you, but you could also put on an act. Nowadays, like, you have to, like, Dr. Disrespect, he actually streamed before he was the doc.
Right.
So, like, you find if you're into that thing, you could put on an act, or you could just be yourself. Like, if you wanna be a PG stream, like, go for it. If not, then fuck it.
All right.
Like, there are those.
Boy, there's a T-shirt right there.
Like, there are sponsors and whatnot that will not sponsor you if you use profanity. Like, I had sponsors and whatnot, and companies came up to me and was like, hey, can you, like, do PG-13 and, like, play this game for this time? I'm like, fuck you, no. like, I will not change myself, but I do like to put on my act.
Right.
And, like, just do you.
All right.
All right, Stabby, we gotta get this next guy, and then I think we gotta get out of here.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good luck out there.
That's a little tall. But so look, tad bit backstory. I'm currently active Marine over in Camp Pendleton right now, 2 years in, got 2 years left. And something that I've been looking at is either I re-enlist and do another 4 years, which I'm really not leaning towards, or I get out and I move towards doing a part-time stream, go to college, and then translate that into working for like Twitch or Riot Games or Blizzard or like Bethesda or like some gaming company, because gaming's been a part of my life forever. Like how would that, aside from using the GI Bill, how would I like go about that using the military community on Twitch, or like what other communities I could use?
Well, first off, you said the right word is I'm going to get out of the military and go part-time streamer. Like, not, I'm leaving my job and I'm going to do this full-time and it's going to go great. Like, that's, you're doing the right thing. Let's see how this goes. Let's see what reality looks like. But I'll leave it to the actual streamers to do the work on this one.
I can speak on that a little bit because I got out and I used my GI Bill and actually left my job to go streaming. But I taught at college on a collegiate level. So that's it. You're literally it. Do it. Go. If you want to go to class, stream part-time, and make sure you get your education, because that is not to be slept on. Like, yes, I know that's a teacher in me talking, but education is going to do it. And I can also speak on that because my education and my teaching got me hired at Electronic Arts. I was an associate interface designer on Madden 2009. So I have been working in the industry, so I've got that history. I taught game design for 4 years. So it comes down to it, do what you want to do, stream part-time, but always keep that education that you're aiming for you, your priority. Like, if you got to skip a stream because you got to study, skip that stream, let your community know, tweet about it. Hey guys, you're awesome, but I got a test I got to cram for, so I'll see you guys next time. Just treat it like you're supposed to treat it. It is, and like, I went full-time. I left my teaching job to go full-time because I felt like it was something that I wanted to do and I wanted to give it a try. But I still have years of experience behind me. I still have degrees behind me that if I needed to go back, I could. So get that base, that if you wanted to try full-time, you have something to fall back onto. Get that education, do the work, and be ready to try it out if you want to, but keep doing you. I streamed for a year and a half, working full-time while teaching, and streaming full-time while teaching, like before I went full-time. So do it, get it done.
Awesome.
That would be me speaking.
Anything else, guys? You got anything on that?
No, man, just get your degree. It'll save you. It'll serve you the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Streaming might not.
Right.
I streamed while in college, like literally in the room too.
You streamed everything.
Oh, I was like IRL before IRL. Like, and the thing is too, like, they would ban you. Like, it was like, yeah, but no education. I mean, I have a degree in criminal justice, and I work at Twitch. So, just saying, like, it has nothing to do with the job I'm doing.
Right.
So, degrees are always really good, and I mean, I didn't have the GI Bill. If I would have stayed in Israel, they would have did some stuff, but I left. So, get an education.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely. This was the last one. We're already way over time, but all right, go ahead. We got.
All right. I'll be honest, I'm not military. I've spent time on a base alongside you guys as a specialist civilian. Based on a couple of questions of the guy behind me, I have a healthy dose of respect for you guys and what you do. And I've been there when some of you guys have been having hard times and going through it, and been there as like the other side of the conversation. I have one thing to say, and that's thank you for your service, everyone in this room, everyone listening to the stream. If you're military, those of us who are civilian, not all of us don't give a damn. We see what you do, we do care, and if you're looking for someone to talk to, some of us are willing to listen. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, Mithri. All right, we are way over time. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. I want to thank our panelists. Let's hear it for these guys. Mr. McStabby, DJ Knight, Charfu, myself, Shanghai 6. Also, thank you very much for our AV guys. Usually I've done this before, and they're kicking us out at 8:29 and 30 seconds. So thank you for letting us go over, gentlemen. We know you want to get to those parties. For those of you that want to stay, ask questions, or do anything, we'll be out in the hallway. Also, if you're at all interested in working with us, we've got a bunch of red shirts in the back. Just look for our red shirts. That's who we are. We're the red shirts. So thanks, everybody. That was a lot of fun. All right. See you out there at the parties, guys.